Hi everybody, PJ here with DJ Beds, otherwise known as Cassidy Bednark. So Cassidy, you're one of the DJs here at the Arab Games in Doha. You and I got a chance to know each other because of course you're working at my venue, which is fencing. So I thought I would just take a couple of minutes and find out a little bit more about the art of DJing. I mean, I'm old and
it's okay.
lots of people in my age group seem to think that, what's the big deal? I mean, you just put a CD and you press play. Tell me about DJing, what it's really like, and what your philosophy is.
Well, I guess fundamentally my philosophy is to treat it like a job. I mean, you're right in the fact that there's a lot of DJs out there who just do it for fun or don't take it seriously or who do just push play. There are certainly those types of DJs, but I think what maybe hopefully separates the people who do it casually and those who do it for a living is the fact that you do treat it like a job, that you are diligent about marketing yourself and branding yourself and working really hard and allocating time every day to your craft from a skill standpoint. So I guess the boring answer is that I like to think that I treat it like a job, as where a lot of people do not, and maybe in some small way that's why I've been able to turn it into a career.
So tell me a little bit about what makes a good DJ and kind of what is the purpose? Like when you're in a venue, what are you trying to do?
Well, I guess the purpose and the philosophy that I've taken on, especially later in life DJing more so than when I first started, is that you're there to facilitate a good time. You're not there for yourself. It's a customer service job. Your job is to essentially try to execute the format, the plan of the operation, whether that's a venue like this, a sporting event, or a nightclub, or what have you. You have the interests of the person that's paying you in mind, as well as the interests of the people in front of you in mind. So I think it takes a lot of humility to DJ and to do it well, because you're not really necessarily thinking at all about what it is that you want to do or what you want to hear, or forcing yourself on others. It's about really trying to just figure out what's going to make the majority of the people that are there as happy as possible. So I think humility is very important to do it, and do it professionally.
So tell me a little bit, I mean, you are the DJ for the Denver Nuggets basketball team. You're here at the Doha Games working for table tennis and fencing, and then of course, you're at clubs, you work on the radio. What is the difference between DJing for a sporting event versus a club, let's say?
Well, I guess when you're dealing with waves of people, with masses of people, it sort of becomes a numbers game. You're never going to make everybody happy all the time, but your job is essentially to try to facilitate comfort, to play stuff that people are going to instantly recognize, instantly sort of, feel comfortable when they hear it. And so that's why in a lot of stadiums, a lot of venues, you might hear some of the same songs, some of the AC/DCs and some of the Lady Gagas and the stuff that's not going to alienate anybody, stuff that people, especially when you're talking about tens of thousands of people, can hear instantly and you can get a reaction to instantaneously, as where maybe a slightly more intimate venue like a club or a party or something, is going to be a little more specific to the people that are in the room at that time, and so that's probably the biggest difference to me in terms of DJing a big venue versus a smaller venue.
Now, you're going to show up in a series of pieces I like to call the Power of One,
Yes.
which has to do with people making a change or a difference in their community. Tell me about your project.
About 2 or 3 years ago, when I was finally, out of the mountain of debt from my college tuition, I was in a position to get involved with some philanthropy, and women's rights has been something that's been important to me throughout my entire life. And my mother was a very self-righteous, very headstrong woman, and so I chose to get involved with a local nonprofit in my city, Denver, Colorado, called Safe House Denver. And they are a local women's rights nonprofit organization that deals in all sorts of cool aspects having to do with the prevention of domestic violence. They have shelters, they do advocacy in the community, they do psychological counseling for people that have been involved in traumatic situations, and so I help them out by donating money. A lot of nonprofits are having some tough times because of the situation in the economy, and more than anything, they need money. So I decided to start making mix CDs with my hip hop and my top 40 and stuff, and I sell them in retail, and I give that money back to Safe House.
So how much have you raised so far?
To date, about $11,000, and I've had some people who have become aware of Safe House because of my work, and they've gotten involved as well. They've donated on their own, so I don't know what the trickle-down effect is, but I've personally given about $11,000 in sales directly to them, so I know they appreciate that, and it makes me feel really good.
DJ Beds, thank you so much for talking to me. Safe journey home.
Thank you. You too.